Hi, Mrs Borrie here. I'm going to read a story today. I'm going to read a story from the Book of Hopes. I thought this was a pretty appropriate book at the moment. I brought this during the first lockdown, and I have definitely enjoyed being able to dip in and read some of it. It's a book full of small stories, short stories from different authors, lots of different children's authors, and they've all put stories relating to hope together in one book. The story I'm going to read today is from one of my favourite authors. Her name is Abby Elphinstone. Lots of you may be familiar with some of her books. Some of the ones she's done we've got The Night Spinner. That's part of a trilogy that begins with The Dream Snatcher. We have got the other one somewhere. I think it's in someone's bedroom. But there's also Sky Song. These lovely books, lovely books for boys and girls. And they've all got a bit of magic in them. And that's really where we start here. I will start here. And this is an extract from her book called Everdark. In Everdark, which is part of her series from the Unmapped Chronicles, there's an 11-year-old girl called Smudge and her grumpy monkey called Bartholomew. Now, this part I'm about to read to you, they're on a ship and the ship is sinking and they think all hope is lost. But actually, what this story shows us, that sometimes we just need to believe. Here we go. The noise of the storm grew quieter as the boat sank further into the depths of the ocean. But Bartholomew's words were loud and clear. I might have doubted you at first, Smudge, but I should have known to have faith. Most people spend their whole life never knowing the strength that lies inside them. They live timidly and are too scared to speak up or step out. But you are not afraid. You dared to believe that you were capable of extraordinary, impossible things. A tear rolled down Smudge's cheek. But I was wrong, wasn't I? We are sinking. The boat groaned under the weight of the sea. Bartholomew squeezed Smudge's hands. It was only a little squeeze, but there was something about the way the monkey held her hands, his old paws wrapped firmly around her fingers. Smudge had never thought Bartholomew liked her, but as she looked into the monkey's eyes now, she realised for the first time that they were big and kind and shining with loyalty. It isn't easy to believe in oneself, Bartholomew said. In fact, sometimes it's easier to believe in things like dragons and witches, although they are rarely seen. But to know the quiet strength of your spirit and to count on it in times like these is to understand what it means to be truly brave. Smudge brushed the tears from her eyes. I underestimated you, Bartholomew said, but I will never do so again. Because the strength inside you is iron strong. And if you can find it again now and hold it just for a second, I believe things might turn out just right. Smudge watched the sea scroll past the cubbyhole window. Down, down, down they went. But Bartholomew's words kindled something inside her. She took a long, deep breath and dared to believe in herself again. And as she did so, a peculiar thing happened. The boat stopped sinking and began very slowly to drift upwards. What's happening? Smudge gasped. Bartholomew smiled. You filled the life buoy attached to this boat with a sea dragon's breath because you remembered that it's more powerful and more buoyant than ordinary air. But you forgot one thing. The boat continued to float up. A sea dragon's magic only works if the person in charge of it believes in themselves as well as in the magic. Smudge hugged Bartholomew tight. Oh, clever old you for remembering, for telling me to hope. The monkey stiffened in her embrace and things became terribly awkward. Yes, well, very nice, thank you. He stood up and shook the water from his fur as the boat bounced up onto the surface of the waves. Then he turned a very serious face towards Smudge. If you breathe a word about that hug or my overly sentimental words earlier, I'm afraid I shall have to disown you completely. I appear to have lost control of my emotions. He picked up his trilby, which is a hat, and put it on. And that will not do. And that is the end of that extract. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Take care. Stay safe.